Great piece, great piece, great piece. You can see here I have on my shirt Leviticus 19:19. Um, it talks about the seeds, that you sow. It talks about how to treat cattle. It also talks about not wearing the wrong fabric. Um, so I want to talk about the fact that, catastrophes happen in our lives and we have to be prepared for them. If we're not prepared for them, how will life approach the situation of us living on this earth, in times where we're loving someone at that moment that catastrophe strikes and the time that we're not expecting it to strike? Um, I look at life like this. Uh, One moment you can be here, the next moment you're gone. So while you're here, treat everybody with respect, dignity, and grace. Admonish the people who you see. You know what I mean? Because even in their existence, while at the time you two may be at a odds, because you pettiest differences, right? You don't know each other, so you may be walking by on somebody on the street and they don't say anything to you. Summer is coming, so people are going to have to talk to one another. We can't just sit in a house and try to stay warm. The heat is going to push us out the house. So I want to see people kind of like take this approach that, um, we have to love one another. We have to see one another want to succeed. We have to see each other, live out our lives, and we have to expect that, the next person is going to support us while we're trying to live out our lives. Um, I look at it like this in life, right? You could be a player on a court, you can be the player on the court taking the last shot, right? You can be the coach calling the last play. Um, you could be the GM, sitting on the bench thinking that, I'm going to draft this player. He's going to be the savings of our first pick. You could be the owner saying, you're going to be able to invest, in this allotment in this area. This is going to bring the people here much joy. And you can see them things never happen because a second later, your life can be taken from you, from anybody. It can be from anything. Um, so like when we look at life and we try to take the approach that, everything here is, not an anomaly, but it's something we want to see again. How is it that you can be born, and you know, everybody has the same attribute. Everybody has two eyes. And in the gluttony of the eyes, there's a lot of melanin. Then everybody has a nose. Some of us have, nasally nose. Some of us have protruding noses. Some of us have hook noses. Some of us have large noses, wide noses. Some of us have, 12 toes, 10 toes. I've saw kids, who I live with, when I was growing up, they had 12 fingers. You know what I mean? So I always wonder like what happened to those people, but how they were treated in life, given the fact that they may have been perceived to have a disability. Um, Life throws us curveballs. You know what I mean? Catastrophes will happen. You can be driving in a car and suddenly somebody cuts you off, and you're going at a high rate of speed, and you forget to take your foot off, the gas pedal. You know what I mean? And you slam it to someone. These things happen. These things happen. Poor decision making, thinking impairment. You know what I mean? I try not to live life fast. I try to live life at a pace that says, life is going to come, so don't rush it. You'll get to see summer. You'll get to see spring. That's what I live for. I live to see the seasons. Last season, I wanted to see winter. I wanted to see winter bad. Now I want to see summer bad. You know what I mean? Um, I miss seeing the kids, play in front of the house, and I'm sitting on the porch watching them. I miss seeing those things. But that's ultimately what life is about: cherishing the little moments. Um, because you don't know how many of them you'll have, and you don't know how many of them you'll be able to soak in. You'll be able to like really breathe in and take out. And speaking of breathing, like again, we don't know when the last time we're going to be able to say these are my last 5 breaths. So my thing to people is that take deep breaths. One thing that I always liked to do when I felt like I had sort of an amount of freedom that was not to be taken from me as a child, I would always run. And I would get to the point where my body would heat up, and like I would love the fact that my hormones were producing to the pace that I felt good about myself. You know what I mean? Because like running makes you feel good. Getting those deep breaths in and having a fast heartbeat, it feels good. So this is my message for everyone who feel like life is holding them down. They don't know what turn to take. They don't know where to look to. They don't know if they have the right visible thoughts. You have to be patient, and the best thing for me is like having therapy. When I'm able to look at Africa and see Africa and be with Africa, this widens my thoughts. This widens my emotions. This widens my feelings. I get a chance to soak in, as much as I can about a people who I'm very far from, but I'm very distant to as far as, relation. I'm very there much with them. So catastrophes happen. You don't know when the next time you'll get to say hello to your father and mother in the morning. You don't know when the last time you'll be able to say, I gave them my all. People are going to look in the future and see that, this construct that we see, this life, we don't know when the last person is here. We don't know if we'll ever be able to see this again. You know what I mean? So take everything as a teaching lesson and try to find out as much as you can so you can save time for the moment, where you can have an admonishment for it. You know what I mean? The little grass that's growing out the ground, or the leaf, or the shoot, or the shrub. Take care of it. Talk to it, nurture it. And in the future, when you're not here and you're just a spirit, because a lot of us say this is just a human experience. These things are going to take care of you. So don't be wrong in your thoughts. Don't be downing in your thoughts. Take all of this in, man, and just love. Love every moment of it. Because there's plenty to give, there's plenty to see, there's plenty to hear, there's plenty to touch, there's plenty to taste. God blessed us. Whatever deity you may believe in, Buddha, Krishna, Allah, Jesus, whoever, he left us something to glow in, so I'm very proud of this, man. And, being able to just be with, the one, it brings glory and tears to my eyes. You know what I mean? It really brings me in the moment, So great peace, and take this time to have blessings. Yakoki.